Hello everybody, um, welcome to my channel. This is Onima Fanuel, and today I'm going to talk about why do many educated Africans are leaving their countries. Have you ever wondered why so many Africans, doctors, engineers, scientists, and graduates leave their countries to live abroad? It's very hard for you to understand why many people, especially the youth in African countries, are leaving their countries to go abroad, especially the people who are needed. I mean doctors, I mean engineers, I mean scientists, and even graduates. So if all of those people are gone, who are we left with? Who will take care of the nations in Africa? And I'm talking this especially on the side of Africa, because let me tell you something. Those countries, I mean, for example, China, Colombia, wherever you name them, Singapore, all those countries, they are already developed. They are already developed. What they need is to keep on developing. But for us Africans, we still need people who are studying, people who are still innovating, people who are still young to improve our country. So if we have people who are going outside of the country, engineers, doctors, and when I'm talking about engineers, doctors, scientists, these are the people who bring innovation to the country. So if they are leaving the country, I'm sure that you understand that it's not something good for the country. So every year, thousands of educated Africans move to Europe, America, Canada, and other parts of the world, searching for a better future. But what a better future? What can't we build our own future in Africa? Let's be honest. Can't we do that? If we decide to be integrated, if we decide to be responsible, and if we decide to love our countries, Africa, we can make it. I'm telling you the truth, we can make it. But still, we need to change our mindsets, guys. Why do we have to go back to the land of the colonizers? Why do we have to go back in those countries? And recently I posted a video talking about how African youth are going in abroad, but searching for life, of course, but they are encountering different problems. I spoke about how 5 to 10% of Africans are the ones who come back to their country to develop it after studying abroad or after going there for searching for money. Or besides that, these people are patriots. They love their countries. They say, even if I'm going to study abroad, I know that's the life over there. Maybe it's nice, maybe it's cool, but I have to go back to save my country, my motherland. And that's it, man. Brother for a brother, you know. So another 80 to 95%, I found that Africans who go abroad, I mean the youth, they never return back to their countries. And when they do return, they don't return because they love their countries. No, they return when they come to visit their families. They say, oh, I left my mom there, I left my dad there. So they just come and say, hi mom, hi dad, whatever. So guys, what are we doing with our nation? What are we doing in Africa? I mean the youth. I'm talking to the youth, especially. I'm talking to the youth. What are we doing, guys? We're wasting our countries. We're wasting our generation. This is what I tell people every time. We need to change. Of course, going abroad is nice, it's cool, but then think of coming back to implement what you study there, what you have gained in your mind. All right. So some people call it opportunities, others call it brain drain. It's like, you're going there, but you will of course stay there. They will use you, but then what will happen? Like, they will use you and then they will throw you back. Yeah, I've heard many stories of people who have gone abroad, but they came back into their countries like having nothing to do. Like, what did you even go to do, man? What did you even do with your life? You're wasting your fucking life. Sorry to use this kind of language. You're wasting your life, guys. So if there is an opportunity, of course take it, but later think of improving in your motherland country. So the real question is, why could people who could help develop Africa choose to leave? Well, be with me, there are many reasons, and some of them are understandable, very understandable, but still your country should be the first priority, no matter what. So today we are talking about a topic that affects millions of Africans and shapes the future of the entire continent, especially the youth. And this is not only about the youth, also people who are grown up. You can find someone in Australia, America, wherever, 50 years old, 60 years old. He went there when he was still a kid, but he didn't come back to improve his own nation. So I call that brain drain. Like, what did you do? Like what did you do to improve your country? All right. So why do many educated Africans leave their countries? This is a tough question, and this is a question I know many people will come to argue about it. We come to think of it in a negative or a positive way. Wherever I care a lot, but guys, you need to hear this. You need to hear this. Why do doctors trained in Africa work in Europe? Why do engineers dream of America or Canada? Why do talented students often believe that success only exists outside Africa? Africa is one of the richest continents. Africa is one of the richest continents, of course, in terms of natural. We have everything, guys. What don't we have? Tell me the truth. What don't we have? Let's be honest, guys. What don't we have in Africa to make our continent very rich and very prosperous? I'm just saying this to maybe change someone's mindset. People are hard to change, especially we Africans. What are we doing to improve our continent? It's like we are failing our forefathers, like we are failing our previous generation. This conversation is kinda emotional, political, and economic, of course, and deeply personal to me, because I like Africa. I'm an African, particularly a Burundian. I like to talk about the ways we can change our continent, especially Africa, the way we can change Africa. And I believe that Africa will be changed by this generation. Believe it or not, Africa will be changed by this generation. So because almost every African family knows someone who has left, someone trying to live, or someone dreaming of living. Quick question, in your family, don't you know someone who is planning to leave, maybe to go abroad, or even someone who has already left, or maybe someone who is dreaming of living? A lot of my classmates, almost all of them, they have such a dream. A dream of going abroad. Like, I want to go to America, I want to go to Canada, Australia, wherever. No, but it's good to go there. But what will you bring back to improve your own country? Your own country, guys. This is the best thing. So before we judge anyone, we need to understand the full picture. The first thing I want to talk about is the African dream versus the reality. Let's begin with something many Africans experience. All right, so from childhood, students are told, study hard so you can have a better future. All right, and many of you do exactly that, right? Am I wrong? You wake up early, you walk long distances to school, maybe you go with a car, I don't know, or you study without electricity. Sometimes you face financial struggles, paying school fees, lunch, buying this and that, all of those things. You face financial struggles, and you fight through difficult education systems. I know that. Yet, after graduating, many face a painful reality. There are not enough opportunities. I understand this. In Africa, in the last video I made, I talked about how unemployment is rising at a very high rate, which is causing many Africans to leave the continent. But yet, still, this should not be a reason why you left Africa but you're not coming back to improve your own country. All right, so you should think of improving your own country. So imagine spending 5 years studying engineering and then remaining unemployed for 2 or 3 years. This was a comment from someone, my friend. So he told me, like, what's the point of studying for more than 5 years and then graduating and then do masters, and then you have no job? Like, man, that was so bad. That was so unfair. But still, we are the ones to improve our nation. We are the ones to fight against unemployment. Whatever we do, unemployment is going nowhere. It's in front of us. It's either we fight it or it fights us. So the choice is only one. We have to fight it. And by fighting it, it's fighting it with all your heart, being patriotic. Alright? So imagine graduating with excellent grades but still needing connections just to get a job interview. So this is not because young people are lazy, no, but because many feel trapped. Youth in Africa is not lazy, but we don't have opportunities, and I support that. I believe that we don't have opportunities. So instead of going there, running, dying in sea, in ocean, we should try to create the opportunities ourselves. Because many, I understand this, many feel trapped between education and opportunity. But we need to fight it. We need to fight against unemployment in Africa. Because without fighting against it, it will fight us. And by fighting us, we won't survive it. That's why many African nations are now poor. Alright, now my best part, unemployment, which is one of the main reasons that cause many African graduates, engineers, doctors, scientists, everyone, you name it, who can improve the country, the nation, going abroad. Unemployment, the biggest push factor. So one of the main reasons educated Africans leave is unemployment. Hear me out. Every year universities produce thousands of graduates across Africa, but many economies are not creating enough jobs to absorb them. There are not many African nations, they don't have jobs to sustain, to support these graduates. Imagine, we have, for example, let's take our country, Burundi. We have let's say, I don't know the exact number, but just let's just estimate. For example, we have 1,000 graduates in 1 year. Then we don't even have, for example, like 50 types of jobs that can sustain these people. And when I'm talking about jobs, some graduates after finishing school, they are very, I can't do that job. No, it's less paying. It doesn't pay the money I need. So they start thinking of going abroad. They start thinking, if I stay here and I do this job, it will pay me 200k per month, which is around maybe $60 maybe. But if I go abroad, I will be paid 500 doing the same job. Now he will think, of course I love the country, but I have a family to take care of. I have things to do. I have a dream. Then they will decide to leave. This is how unemployment is affecting Africa. I mean, it's making people leave Africa, especially the youth. In some countries, one job opening receives thousands of applications. You have a business, you are the business owner, you are receiving more than 1,000 people asking for a job. Can you imagine? Some remain dependent on their parents, for years. I was actually surprised to see one of my friends, one of my big brother friends, who stays somewhere near Sharama. He's around 35 years old and he's still living with his parents. And I was asking him, man, why are you still living with your parents? Can't you find a job? Can't you find something to do? And the guy was like, he was just cool with it. He was like, nah, what can I do in this country? It's paying me nothing. Like, what can I be paid, bro? He was even thinking of going abroad. Honestly, I don't know where he is now, but I think he went. Because things in our country are not very good, guys. Let's be honest. So now compare that countries to abroad where skilled workers are actively needed. You have a job, you are applying for a job in your own country which pays maybe $50, and a job when you go abroad it will pay you more than $400. So you choose to leave. So for example, a nurse in Africa, let's take a quick example. A nurse in Africa may struggle to find a stable job locally, while hospitals abroad are recruiting internationally. So the nurse will eventually choose to go abroad, and this one by one they will leave one by one, and you find that the country is staying with people who are just there with no jobs, with nothing.